What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Alfonso Speaks. Before we get started with today's episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more great content. I wanted to thank all of you guys who have been watching the videos. This channel has blown up basically overnight with this content. You guys are leaving comments. You guys are giving me feedback. I'm loving every bit of it. Thank you to everybody who shared a recommendation for a trial that you want me to follow. I've got a few of them right here in my notes section on my phone that you guys have given me. A couple of them, Bradley Yon was one. Hannah Payne was another one that I got a recommendation for. Chandler Halderson, I believe, is how you pronounce his name. And then just some other Darrell Brooks parts in the case that you guys wanted me to react to. If you guys have any, anything like that you guys want me to react to as far as like this trial goes, I have different things on here like the opening statements, the closing statements, sentencing remarks. Somebody wanted me to see if Darrell Brooks has attempted to use the sovereign citizen theory in any other case. So I'm going to be looking into stuff like that. We're also going to start looking into like his music videos and things of that nature. But all of you have been really, really awesome, giving me great feedback. I want to tell you guys very quickly, don't want to waste too much of your time, but really want to tell you guys how much I appreciate that. I've been working really hard to try to build some type of content that people would gravitate to for a long time, and it seems like this has been the big breakthrough for me. And honestly, it's kind of crazy because I would watch this trial all the time and then go make content about something else on some other channel or some other platform, when I didn't really realize like I should probably just be making content about this that I'm watching all day anyway, and there's a lot of you who are watching it, a lot of you like me who can't seem to stop watching it for some reason. It's a great case study into the what a narcissist looks like, what evil in the flesh looks like. And I really appreciate you guys subscribing, leaving the comments, giving me feedback, giving me conversation. Seriously, it means the absolute world to me. For all of you who have said that you love the sound of my voice, thank you so much. It's really an honor. God blessed me with this thing. I'm just trying to use it to the best of my ability. For all of you who've called me professional, thank you so much. You can thank the U.S. Air Force for that. I served for 6 years, got out as a staff sergeant, and it really shaped who I've become for the rest of my life. But I can't stress enough how awesome this is to be able to just make content like this. And once we hit 500 subscribers, I do plan on doing a live stream, where we're going to watch something together, and it's going to be for at least like an hour, maybe 2 hours, that we're just going to watch something together. So once we hit that 500, that live stream is coming. So make sure you like and you share so that other people can sub. But I've talked long enough. Let's get into the Darrell Brooks trial. Again, thank you guys so much for being a part of this journey with me. I feel blessed, I feel very fortunate, and you guys have no idea what it means to me. So today, we're going to go over one of the most ridiculous moments of the trial, I would say. It is the moment that Darrell Brooks decided to come into court and try to fake a COVID test in order to get himself, and excuse me, I hit the mic, get the trial delayed by a couple of weeks, because he knew that COVID protocol at this time in 2021 would result in a 2-week delay of anything. And hey, I've said it before, I'll say it again. One more day in court or one more day in Waukesha County Jail is one less day he'd have to spend in Dodge Correctional Facility, which is a state prison, not a federal prison. I've been corrected a few times on that. My apologies for the slip up. Hey, if you guys notice I say anything wrong that's not factual, or maybe I'm just a little bit off, please. It's very hard to offend me. I just want you guys to know that. It's extremely hard to offend me. You can try, but it's not gonna work. I have some of the thickest skin you're ever gonna find. So please, if there's something that I need to be corrected on, please do that. Now, if I feel like maybe your comment's unfair, I'll comment back. I've been commenting back to a lot of you so far, defending maybe something that I said that, I stand by, whatever the case may be. Hey, we're all here for conversation. We're all here to enjoy the content together. So without further ado, let's get into Darrell Brooks, October 5th, 2022, trying to fake a COVID test. Let's get into it.
Your name for the record, please.
I'm here as a third-party intervener in that matter, appearing as authorized representative for my client. I accept for value and return for value all the charging instruments in this matter and make my exemption available.
So, as you can see, he's starting off very quick on the BS. Look at the way that he's standing, listen to the way that he's talking. He's trying to appear as sick as possible. See, the thing about COVID, if you guys remember, is that a lot of the symptoms weren't really detectable to the eye. They were just detectable to oneself, like the loss of taste, loss of smell, things like that. So he could try to fake this. And, people wouldn't be able to confirm whether or not he was faking until they got the test. The problem for him is they decided to do the test.
For discharge of all obligations and charges connected with this case, I do not dispute any of the facts in the charging instruments. Also, Your Honor, I would like to make an offer for my appeal, if I may.
I'll get to that momentarily. The record will reflect that the individual known to this court to be Darrell Brooks is appearing in person in custody. We are, of course, outside the presence of the jury today. Since they are not here, we are dealing with some housekeeping type of issues and other legal matters. So he is appearing today in jail attire. He is in custody.
Do you guys hear him trying to talk the entire time that Judge Darrell is trying to talk? Like, how obnoxious can you... Shut up! So she can make her record. It's not that hard. But I forgot. Why am I getting hyped? Why am I getting upset? I know who we're dealing with here. We're dealing with Darrell Brooks. You can't be reasonable with a Darrell Brooks. Like, why even get upset that he's interrupting the judge? Like, that's honestly, on the scale of things that he's done, that's like towards the bottom of the totem pole of things that he's done wrong. So whatever.
And it's my understanding, Mr. Brooks, that you were offered to appear in the suit, but chose to come to court in jail attire, which is fine. We're not in the presence of the jury. I just wanted to make a record of that.
I do not consent or identify by the name that you stated earlier. I want the record to reflect that, if I may.
The record will reflect. Thank you. All right, I know there was some filings, and I want to make sure the parties have copies of everything. Mr. Brooks, I know there was an inmate communication form filed, I believe earlier this morning, requesting 6 subpoenas as soon as possible. I instructed my staff to make sure ample copies of the subpoena forms were provided to you. I did receive verification that those were hand delivered.
He looks ridiculous.
Did you receive those, sir?
No, I did not.
We'll provide additional copies. Again, it's my understanding those were hand delivered.
I want you guys to keep in mind this entire time that he ended up having to hand over the results of his COVID test, and he was not positive for COVID-19. So all of this is a front. All of this is him trying to do the biggest professional acting job that he possibly can, so he can get this trial delayed once again. Because here's his rational thinking. If I can get this delayed because I'm showing symptoms, and I get it delayed for 2 weeks because of COVID, I can just keep saying that I have COVID, and it just keeps getting delayed for 2 weeks, and then I never have trial, and I never go to prison. That's his approach. That's what he wants. It didn't work. Spoiler.
The jail took care of that in the event that that latter part did not take place. Mr. Brooks, I believe you were requesting 6 subpoena forms. I'm going to have my clerk print out 10 so that you have ample copies. And when that is done and those are handed to you, I'll make a record of that.
Will we address the inmate communication form I sent about
I have a number of issues I need to address, so yes, we'll get to that.
You don't believe that that's an important issue that should be taken up before we continue any further in the proceedings?
I just want to make sure the state has a copy of what was forwarded first before we take that up.
He don't want to talk about nothing else but this COVID stuff.
I'm not seeing it in the record yet, so I did a F5, so it'll refresh.
So the prosecution will receive a copy?
I believe one was printed now for them. It is in the record. And then I'm gonna print off something as well. I don't know if it was already.
Respectfully, would like to state for the record and would like the record to reflect that I believe that this is an issue that should be addressed at this point before we go any further.
Preparing to do that. I didn't say I wouldn't do that. So give me a minute. I have some documentation that I'd like to provide to the parties as well. And I want to confirm with Attorney Opper that you have now received a copy of that inmate communication form.
Yes, I have one in front of me, Judge. It's dated today's date, October 5, 2022.
Yes, dated today because I just learned of the protocol that I would be on.
Hey, real quick. Shout out to Zach, okay? That man's suit game was on point the entire trial. Every single day, that man was bringing the heat. Like, whoever his tailor is in Waukesha or Milwaukee or wherever he stays at, good job by you. He looks sharp every single day. I like suits, so I just wanted to point that out. Zach was looking fresh every day.
As of today.
Can you print or make 2 copies, one for each party? All right, I'm going to provide a document to the parties. It's a 5-page document. It is a document that was forwarded to me at my request by Monica Paz, our clerk of court, after receiving the inmate communication form from Mr. Brooks requesting an adjournment. For the reasons stated in that document, I thought it important that we all have before us the current county protocol related to COVID-19. And so this will be provided to the parties.
I'm inclined to accept that if I don't believe
Sir,
that
it will be placed on your table, but I will be referring to that today, so it's been given to you.
Is it verified law, Your Honor?
Attorney Opper, do acknowledge that the COVID-19 illness reporting protocol was provided.
I respectfully object.
Yes, Judge.
Your Honor, I would like an answer to that question if I may. Because I have not consented to or agreed to accept any paperwork that...
Sir, it's been provided to you. It's something I'm going to consider. You don't want to read it. You want to disregard it. That's your choice.
Are you making the judicial determination?
I know what some of y'all in the comment section about to say. Will he shut the up? But listen, again, I said in the last video, I'm always remind you guys in every video, okay? Woosah. Breathe in, breathe out. Just enjoy the clown show. And just remember, he got 1,000 years in prison. Okay? So he didn't get to just make a mockery of the court and then walk free. That's not how it went down. Okay? So we're good. Just breathe in, breathe out, meditate daily. Woosah. We're okay, guys. We're okay. All right? Just breathe. Let's keep watching.
Determination that you don't have to answer that question I just asked you, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, the COVID-19 protocol has been placed in front of you. It is your choice whether you want to review it or not. So my understanding, just from the information Mr. Brooks has provided, which is part of the public record, is he is requesting an adjournment of all proceedings due to learning that he's on a COVID-19 protocol. I don't have any other information than that, sir. But based upon you providing that information, again, I did I was provided with the COVID-19 illness reporting protocol. I wanted to make sure that I had the most recent information that at least the county of Waukesha is operating under. I also verified with court staff that the location at which you are seated is not within 6 feet of any other individual in this courtroom. Is there any other information you think I should know as I consider your request for an adjournment today?
Yes, I find it hard to believe that you couldn't consult with jail staff to verify the protocol, to verify that I was seen by nurses that
I don't have that information, sir, and let me be clear, cannot be provided to me under HIPAA. The only information I have is what you put in the inmate communication form.
It could be verified because I was told when I was brought down here that everybody knew that I was on a COVID protocol. That's why everybody
Because you advised us.
That's why, no, because the jail advised them. That's why they had to wear masks to bring me down. That's why I'm essentially on a protocol that doesn't allow me out of my cell until my results come back. So I'm not allowed out of my cell at the moment because of the protocol that the nurse himself placed me on, that the jail confirmed. That is very easy information to obtain.
Sir, I have an attorney for the county here who will verify that none of that information has been provided to me due to HIPAA.
He's not listening to anything. All he wants to do is talk. That's all he ever wants to do is talk. He's not listening. I'm glad that she's continuing to talk right over him, though, because there were parts in the trial where, like, she would just, like, stop herself to let him talk. And I think she does a little bit of that in this video, but I prefer when she just talks right over him because she has the authority in the courtroom, not him. So she should be the one. If anybody's talking over anybody, it should be her talking over him and not the other way around.
I don't want you to think I'm arguing.
So I'm not arguing it with you, sir.
I just want you to know that I'm not arguing with you either, but I was right in the middle of finishing what I was saying.
So I need to stop you for a minute, Mr. Brooks,
I don't consent to that, Your Honor, because
you don't have to consent.
I
but here we go. Let me
to being cut off right when I'm trying.
All right, I'm just going to talk over him for a minute. I do not have any other information regarding the COVID-19 protocol, meaning anything specific about you, Mr. Brooks, other than what was put in the inmate communication, which reads, due to just learning I'm on COVID-19 protocol, I respectfully ask for all proceedings to be adjourned at this time, which is why I asked you if there was any other information you wanted to provide me as I consider your request, because the jail has not provided me with any specific information regarding the reason you were placed on protocol, whether you were exposed, whether you are showing symptoms. They cannot provide me with that information absent you giving them permission by signing an applicable authorization to do that. Without that, I have to rely upon you to provide that information to me if you so choose.
That is incorrect, because just yesterday you were trying to obtain the witness list that was in my cell. You had.
He's so dumb, he can't understand why there's a difference between obtaining a witness list and somebody's medical information. Medical information is always classified. A witness list is not classified. It really is that simple. It's not really that difficult to understand, except for Darrell Brooks.
No problem whatsoever having the JA come down here to have me verify that they can go in my cell and search for that. So I find it very hard to believe that you can't consult with jail staff for them to tell you what is going on in my situation, where they know that I've just been seen by a nurse that placed me on this protocol for having a loss of taste, fatigue, and I have to wait for the results of my test. And until then, I am on a protocol which restricts me to my cell.
Anybody noticing how when he was first making those first statements, I'm here as a third party intervener on some of my client, may that be clear for the record. He was speaking in like that really low voice, trying to appear sick. Now he's forgotten to play the role. Now he's talking in his regular voice. Whoa. It's like he doesn't have COVID anymore. Wow. What a miracle. God is good, right, guys? I mean, look, God just placed his healing hands on this man and took his COVID right away in the middle of court. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That is very easy information to obtain. And I find it very hard that Your Honor cannot obtain that information, but can obtain a way to communicate with jail staff when there's a witness list involved. We're talking about someone's health that can affect not just you, but anybody else, not just officers, but also inmates. We're talking about health and we're talking about safety. That has a lot of merit. And frankly, Your Honor, I'm afraid.
We're talking about health, we're talking about safety, and I'm afraid. Says the man who ran through dozens of innocent people trying to enjoy a Christmas parade. The irony. Excuse me, guys. Scratch my eye itches. The irony of that statement. We're talking about health and we're talking about safety. This holds a lot of merit. This could affect a lot of people. Almost like driving a car through a parade can affect a lot of people. In my last video, when he was interviewing Erica Patterson, he kept saying, and by the way, look at his stupid face right now. I mean, you could pause anywhere in a lot of these trial videos and just see the worst freeze frames of Darrell Brooks, but I digress. He was interviewing Erica Patterson, asked her a very open-ended question, then tried to stop her and said, "Oh, let's pump the brakes. Let's back up a little bit." And somebody left a comment in the comment section. They were like, "Man, if only he had said that before he ran through the parade. Oh, let's back up a little bit. Let's pump the brakes." I think it's ironic. He says so many things during the course of this trial where you can be like, oh man, yeah, you probably should have said that on November 21 of 2021 and none of us would be here right now. Interesting.
I'm fully vaccinated and I've never had COVID. I don't know what I'm looking at here. That was the last thing I was hoping I would be told today, Your Honor. So I'm afraid right now. I'm not feeling well. I don't know what's going on with myself. That's the reason why I put in the sick call slip initially. I had been telling officers for days that I hadn't been feeling well, but I didn't know what it was. But I felt that I had to put in the sick call slip because I was not able to taste anything. That is the reason why I was seen by nurses. That is the reason why the COVID test was administered, and that's why I'm on the protocol as we speak.
Are you willing to discuss with me what tests were done? Again, I cannot obtain that information on my own.
I'm not a nurse, Your Honor. I don't know the name of the test. I don't, like I said, I've never had this happen.
Let me clarify that. That was a pretty ambiguous question. So, you reported symptoms as that's what you're telling me, right?
Correct.
And you're saying some tests were done?
I mean, that it's obvious. I mean, why can't it be verified with the nurse?
I have to verify it with you.
He can't just ever say yes or no. That was such an easy question. Are you saying some tests were done? Yes, that's what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, it's obvious. How can you not verify? It's obvious. That's how you can tell when somebody's lying, when they can't just say a yes or no. So again, guys, one of the purposes of watching these videos, one of the purposes of us studying Darrell Brooks is to recognize the people in our lives that act like him. So if you notice when you're asking somebody a question and they're already acting weird and they can't just give you a yes or no, spoiler guys, they are lying to you. Just keep that in mind. They're lying.
The nurse will not provide me with this information.
But the jail can, because they control the movement. They control all inmate movement. I can't just go from my cell to a HSU.
Inmate movement is not the issue at the moment.
It's not, but I'm saying, how can I tell you, how can I answer what you're asking me? It doesn't make sense. We all understand that the jail itself controls the movement of the inmates. That's common sense, Your Honor.
I'm not here to talk about inmate movement at the moment. What I'm asking you is, do you believe you were tested for COVID?
I obviously was tested for COVID. I would not be on the protocol if I was not.
Do you know what type of test? Was it an oral swab, a nasal swab?
It was a nasal swab.
All right. Do you know when the results of that test will be back?
From my understanding, Friday. That's what I was told by the doctors. I would have to be at least on this protocol until the results come back, which he said the earliest would be Friday.
Were you offered a rapid test?
They said they do not do the rapid test.
So you weren't offered a rapid test?
They said they don't do them.
If one can be obtained, are you willing to submit to a rapid test?
I'm not willing to submit to anything right now until we take care of the issues that's at hand. I mean, I've already been placed on the protocol. I'm very afraid right now because I don't know what's going on. This is new to me. Like I said, I'm fully vaccinated, Your Honor. I've been fully vaccinated since 2021. And so for this to just be sprung on me now to say this could possibly be a COVID thing, I've had people close to me that have passed away from COVID. I'm afraid as hell, Your Honor. That's the reason why I submitted the IC.
Now, watch what she catches him on right here. Because he's saying he's scared, right? She's going to ask him, if we can get a rapid test, you want to take it? Watch his response.
Yeah, for the adjournment. I was thinking at least until I can get the results, at bare minimum. I don't think I'm asking something that's impossible for you.
If I can make arrangements to have a rapid test brought to you and administered, are you willing to submit to that test?
Not at this time.
Why not?
Not at this time.
Why not?
Why can't I get the results for the test I already took?
But you're telling me you're scared? You're
fearful? Yes, I am.
But you don't want to take a test that might tell you today?
I took the test that he gave me. If
you're telling me that test result won't be...
Look, the attorney in the middle. I forgive me, guys. I forget her name. One of you guys will probably tell me in the comment section. Let me know exactly what her name is. I know Zach Witchow. I know attorney Sue Auber. Please let me know what her name is. She's my favorite, honestly, because her faces during the trial are priceless. Also priceless is the amount of emotion, the amount of empathy she shows the victims. She cries for the victims. She celebrates for the victims when the verdict is reached. She wears her emotions on her sleeve. But this is how you're going to see her most of the trial because Darrell Brooks continues to provide comedy for her to laugh at. It's tremendous. Somebody, please tell me her name in the comment section. I really do appreciate it.
Be available to you until at least Friday.
At least Friday, that's what I was told.
Tomorrow.
I was told that I would be placed on this protocol until the results came back. The earliest that the results would be back would be Friday.
So that sounds like, to me, I think that's what they call a PCR test.
I have no idea, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have no idea what it's called. Like
Let
I
me
said,
ask
I've
you-
never had COVID. I don't know the test names. I don't know what they call them.
I'm generally familiar with some of the testing for COVID. There are tests that can be what we call rapid tests, or what are called rapid tests, that are available. And then there's these other tests which take a few days. It's, again, I'm not a scientist, but I think the general belief would be sometimes the rapid tests are accurate, sometimes they're not. Sometimes people test negative when they're really positive. It just kind of depends on the circumstances. But it's my understanding a positive test would be pretty accurate. And then there's other tests that take a few days for the results to come back. It really depends on the lab that's being utilized, etc. I'm asking you once again, if a rapid test can be obtained, are you willing to take a rapid test?
How would that be obtained? How would it be obtained?
He can't just say yes or no because he's lying. I just kicked my camera. I'm so upset. He's saying he just keeps jumping around the question because he doesn't want to say yes, I'm willing to take the test, because he doesn't want to take the test because he knows he doesn't have COVID. But he doesn't want to keep saying no because then that looks a little too suspicious, right? He's cornered. A liar that's cornered will start making up BS or start stalling or whatever the case may be. That's what he's doing.
So I can only go by what was told to me, because when I was brought in there and they told me that they had to test me for COVID, I was immediately like, what do you mean you have to even test me for this? What is this about?
Well, didn't you report symptoms to them?
Excuse me, Your Honor. I had a lieutenant and two officers
Excuse me, Your
present when I was asking all these questions. Why do I need, what's going on with this? Why is this? Why is this? Why is that? Because I didn't understand. Immediately in my head, I started to get afraid when they said they had to even test for COVID.
Well,
now instead of answering questions, now it's story time with Darrell Brooks. That's all this is turning into. Stalling, stalling, stalling. Delay, delay, delay. It just never ends. It never ends with this man.
were you reporting being sick and symptoms prior to them asking you to test?
Yes, I've told multiple officers. I didn't know what it was at first because it started with fatigue, with me feeling very fatigued. And I said, man, I don't know if it's just me being tired, or that's what I initially thought it was. Maybe I'm just a little exhausted. But I said, no, anybody knows their body. I said, this got to be something more, because I'm really, I don't even have an appetite. Then when I'm trying to eat, I can't taste anything. That's what said, okay, now I need to put the medical sick
When did
card
you
with
report
it.
these symptoms to the medical people, or to even just a correctional officer?
A few days ago. Over the weekend is when I started to notice the fatigue. So I was telling officers, man, I don't feel good. I don't know if it's just I'm tired. Usually I don't just jump the gun and say something's wrong, because it could be anything. So
When did you report the loss of taste?
I reported the loss of taste last night.
And was it after that they told you they wanted to test you?
No, they didn't tell me till this morning that they wanted to test me.
What other symptoms are you reporting at this time?
That was it so far, just the fatigue and the loss of taste, which is the reason why I was told that I had to take the test. Which I was told at that time also that the earliest my results would be back would be Friday.
And you said at this point you're not willing to take a rapid test.
Well, they said this is the test that they do. the nurse was very clear in what he was telling me when he told me how the test, because like I said, there was a lieutenant and 2 officers right there while the whole thing was going on.
I understand all of that. I have a very specific question to you, sir.
I was asking them questions, and he specifically told me that this jail, this is the test that they do. They do not do rapid tests. I didn't even ask about the test because I know nothing about the test. This is what I was told. And after he told me that, I said, okay, fine, just do the test and I'll just sit on the protocol, because at first when he told me, you know, you're gonna have to be on a protocol where you're isolated. I said, okay, fine, just do the test. I'd rather you do the test and make sure that I'm healthy than to just refuse the test and just say, I'll just wait for it to see if I get better or something like that. So I said, yeah, just go ahead. And that's what I was informed. Friday would be the earliest that I would get the results back, and I would be placed on a protocol which is called isolation, where I'm not allowed out of my cell.
Bingo. That is why he's pressing this so hard. Because if they agree to an adjournment, he doesn't have to leave his cell, which means he can't go to court, which means the trial is delayed. Simple. Simple game plan. Poor execution.
Anything else, sir, you think I need to know about this issue as I consider your request?
No, at this time, I'm just telling you what I know. Multiple officers were there. They can tell you the same thing that I'm telling you now. Like I said, a Lieutenant Chamberlain was there. 2 officers were there.
Any objection if I talk to any of them to confirm what you're saying?
Absolutely not.
Any objection if I need to ask the jail administrator about, or anyone else at the jail about, the protocols and what's available for testing?
Absolutely not.
Given any information about whether anyone else in the facility is experiencing COVID right now?
I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know who. I'm in the mental health medical pod as it is.
So no information's been provided to you that there's like either a lockdown or some type of a restriction due to any like concern over COVID at this time?
I would never have that information, because like I said, I'm limited in the pod that I'm in. I have no interaction with any other inmates, and my interaction with staff is pretty limited.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that additional information. I know, sir, what I've provided to you is generally the, for employees, I fully recognize that the jail may have different protocols just because of it being in a correctional facility, and inmates are, of course, or can be very close to one another. And so I don't want to presume that this is exactly what they follow. And so I'd like for them to tell me what their protocols are as I consider this request. At the moment, I told you this earlier, you're not within 6 feet of anyone else in this courtroom. And I believe that provides ample protection for the other people in this courtroom. As I consider this request, you've provided information to the court. You've been able to tell me the symptoms that you are reporting, your understanding of the protocols, and despite you reporting fatigue, I know, I don't know if you're standing or sitting on the chair. I can't quite tell. It appears like you're standing, but maybe leaning over the table.
I got a knee on the chair.
Oh, knee on the chair. Okay, but you've been able to very clearly, coherently make your position known to the court at this time, and I appreciate that. Let me ask Attorney Opper if there's anything you would want to provide or state at this time regarding this.
Here we go.
Yes, Your Honor, a couple of things. Number one, we believe this is nothing more than a further delay tactic by Mr. Brooks. I can advise the court, as an officer of the court and as an offer of proof, that he is.
How could
Mr.
that?
Brooks?
How could that even?
Opera interrupt you when you were talking?
Well, I respectfully object to
You
that.
can object, your objection's noted, but you need to let her state what she needs to state. I will give you an opportunity to respond. I'd encourage you to use paper and a pen to write down. That's the rules of decorum in the courtroom, sir. We generally avoid interrupting one another so that, number one, the record can be clear, and perhaps most importantly, because that is a sign that we all understand that this is a place of dignity, it is a place of respect. It demonstrates that, frankly, a willingness on the participants to conduct themselves appropriately. It avoids creating disorder or disruption. So I will give you an opportunity to respond, but you need to give Attorney Opper an opportunity without interruption. Go ahead, Attorney Opper.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, again, we believe this is a delay tactic in line with the defendant's behavior since about the August 25th or 26th motion hearing. I can advise the court, as an officer of the court, that Mr. Brooks has been saying for the last several weeks in his recorded jail calls to his mother and others that he's going to get this trial delayed or adjourned or pushed back. This behavior, again, on the 11th hour is 100% consistent with that. I believe that if the court wanted more information from the jail administrator, she is present and could provide that information. I believe Mr. Brooks has waived any HIPAA privacy rights he may have in that regard and indicated that to the court. And also I believe she would be able to provide information if the court ordered her to do so. I believe that even if he is on COVID protocol, it will have zero impact on his ability to prepare for this case. As we've learned already, and I'm prepared to make a further record, he has all of his discovery materials within the confines of his jail cell. He has a tablet made available to him in the confines of his own jail cell, and he has the ability to use a conference room in his pod. I don't believe the COVID protocol would interfere with his ability to access that conference room whatsoever. But again, I could verify that with the jail administrator if the court thinks that's an appropriate fact. The fact that he claims to have started reporting symptoms as far back as the weekend, we're probably right up against the 5 days right now. If he started this on Saturday, which I don't believe there's any record of, we're at 5 days right now. And certainly the court's offer to...
I never once said...
Mr. Brooks,
I never
have
said...
an opportunity momentarily.
No,
you
I
need to stay
respectfully
quiet.
object to that because that has no merit.
Mr. Brooks, it's not your time to speak.
Again, guys, breathe, breathe, breathe. I know he's really starting to piss some of you off. I know. Just 1,000 years. 1,000 years. 1,000 years. Okay? It's okay. Just enjoy the circus.
Respectfully object. I never reported saying what day. I never said a day. And if she's saying she has...
He definitely said this weekend, which means either Saturday or Sunday. So you did technically say a day by saying the weekend.
Phone calls, well, why aren't they present? Why can't they be verified by sworn affidavit and brought into this court to be shown that this is a delay tactic, as you say it is? How come it can't be shown by sworn affidavit? Can you provide proof of that?
All right, Mr. Brooks, I've given you a little bit of
Just
leeway
like
because we are outside the presence of the jury.
I haven't given consent to waive anything. I've simply told the judge that I had no issue with her verifying with the jail that this protocol is in effect and that I was in effect tested for COVID-19. How could that be a delay tactic? If that was a delay tactic, why would I even need to be tested and placed on the protocol? Why does everybody have to have on masks to bring me down here?
All right, Mr. Brooks,
there no
Mr.
verification?
Brooks, I'm going to warn you now that you have interrupted a couple of times. You interrupted Attorney Opper twice.
I have to be able to speak up.
You're now interrupting me yet again. We all were polite and had you provide information.
That was abuse.
That's at least the third interruption of this court.
That was abuse by the prosecution. That was abuse.
Mr. Brooks, let me finish.
No, because that's
so he's outright refusing to listen.
I would not
outright
sit here
talking over me at the moment.
Anything. I didn't refuse anything.
Mr. Brooks, we are at the point yet again where I will put you in the other courtroom because you are not able.
I don't consent to being removed. I have not waived the right to be present, and I don't agree with that.
Mr. Brooks,
Does the record
I have
reflect?
provided you on multiple occasions and it's should be in front of you.
No,
and
I don't acknowledge that. I haven't agreed to it.
You have been advised on multiple.
He thinks if he doesn't acknowledge it, then the rules don't apply. I don't know what kind of la-la land he's been living in for his entire life, but it's clearly a la-la land surrounded by entitlement, surrounded by him being the center of attention. I really think things started going downhill for him in life when he got out of his mother's house, or he became a grown man and realized that the world doesn't gravitate towards his wants and needs. And so his way of responding is by lashing out, either verbally or physically, because he's a man-child. And we're seeing all of it here. The only reason nobody is hurt in this situation is, number one, because attorney Zach Wichow is sitting right there and he doesn't fight men. He only fights women. But also, even if he wanted to, he couldn't, because he's shackled to the table. It's very clear. It's obvious why Darrell Brooks behaves the way that he does. It's a direct reflection of who he is as a person, who he's been his entire life, who he was raised to be. This is what happens when you come from a broken household and a mother who raises you by letting you get away with everything that you do wrong, covering for you for everything you do wrong, bailing you out when you run over your girlfriend's foot with the car that's registered in her name, the same car that you go and drive through a Christmas parade 2 weeks later. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're seeing in this situation, we are seeing a man who hasn't fully developed into his manhood and is still in his boyhood and still thinks the world needs to revolve around him and still thinks he needs to be the loudest voice in every room and still thinks he needs to be the center of attention in every room. Ladies and gentlemen, do not raise your child to be a Darrell Brooks. Do not raise your child to be entitled, narcissistic, self-centered, selfish, violent. Do not raise your child to be like that. Raise your child with grace, with love, with empathy for others. Raise a child that serves people, not expects people to serve them. Raise a child that loves people. Raise a child that cares about people. Do not raise a Darrell Brooks. Because when you raise a Darrell Brooks, people get hurt. People lose their child. There's a brother growing up without his little brother anymore. Because of this man. Because of this thing right here. And I'm sorry, I don't get really worked up about, of course this trial upsets me. Of course what he did upsets me, but I don't get really worked up until I start thinking about Jackson Sparks. And then I get pissed, man. I get heated. Because I have a son. He's 4. I have another baby on the way. Due this summer, in July. I put myself in the shoes of the Sparks family and say, oh my goodness, if that was my son, nobody in that courtroom would have been able to stop me from ripping his head off the moment I saw him. And you think about everything that led up to what created this monster of a man. And they're very noticeable things that people just allow to happen. They don't think, oh, that's just the way he is. Oh, let me bail him out of this again. No, you have a literal monster on your hands that you're creating because you're enabling him, because you're raising him entitled, because you're making him think the world owes him something. And when he doesn't get it, he lashes out. Ladies and gentlemen, Darrell Brooks is not rare. There's Darrell Brooks all around you guys. There's Darrell Brooks in your everyday life. The question is, are you going to check that person at the door? Are you going to tell that person about themselves so that they can change? Are you going to allow that person to take valuable things away from somebody else, take life away from somebody else? Let's wake up, guys. Let's really start recognizing what's in front of us. Let's start recognizing the Darrell Brooks in our everyday lives. Because this is the point where I get pissed off talking about this trial. I stay very even-keeled. I tell you guys, whoosah. And then I think about Jackson Sparks. And then I get really effing mad. And I'm sure a lot of you guys do too.
You are now acting as your own attorney by representing yourself. That all of the rules of courtesy and decorum apply to you. I don't recognize that name, Your Honor. Supreme Court Rule 62.02 details many of the requirements for courtesy and decorum. I've referenced a couple of them on multiple occasions, including that sub 1 sub F of 62.02, that proper conduct and attire is expected within the courthouse, and where possible, individuals, including yourself, right, are to refrain from creating disorder and disruption. Sub H, you're supposed to conduct yourself in a manner which demonstrates sensitivity to the necessity of preserving decorum and integrity of the judicial process. You have been advised multiple times, sir, of the expectation that this court has that you conduct yourself in a civil manner. You've been advised multiple times that this court will not tolerate disruptions, interruptions, that when you do that, you run the risk of forfeiting your right to be present in the courtroom. As you know, I have available the courtroom next door that's connected to the holding area. It is connected by audio and visual means. It provides you an opportunity to meaningfully participate by also giving the court the opportunity to control the decorum.
Not gonna lie, guys. Not gonna lie. I'm recording this video about 11 o'clock at night, and now I'm pissed off thinking about Jackson, and I don't want to see this man anymore for the rest of my day. I want to go to bed. You know, I think just thinking about the families really just takes me there to that point of that frustration that you just saw come out of me. I really do try to keep a very I'm a very chill and laid back person, if you guys can't tell. I'm all about PLP, peace, love, and positivity. That's all I'm about, all the time. I know I'm not a perfect person, and I try to be better every day, and I try to learn something new every day. But at my core, I'm always choosing peace, I'm always choosing love, and always choosing positivity. And seeing somebody who is the direct opposite of that is definitely going to make my skin crawl and make me want to punch a hole through something. Preferably Darrell Brooks' face. But since I can't do that, instead, we use these platforms to get our frustration out. We use these platforms to get our rage out. And I feel like I did a little bit of that today, but I think I want to refocus myself before I go to sleep and just really think about positivity, positive things. And yeah, man, what a video. What an idiot. What a habitual liar he is. What a narcissist he is. What a selfish, self-centered POS Darrell Brooks is. We're definitely going to come back with more Darrell Brooks, though. We're definitely going to come back. So as much as he irritates me, I just know he irritates you guys just as much, if not more. And I know you guys want to hear me take a big dump on him. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. For you, for me, for Jackson Sparks. That's what I'm going to do because that's all I can do. It's very frustrating. I will say this, and I don't care that it's caught on video. I don't care. Courts all around the world. If somebody harms my son and they turn up dead, I did it. Just so you know. That's all I got for today, guys. Like, share, subscribe, stay safe, stay blessed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Woosah. Peace.